Mhm.
Sup, y'all? It's your boy, Saku Wants to Fight here, and joining with me on the other side of the American border is Ric Rom. How's it going, man?
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Ric Rom. I'm doing okay, Saku. But yeah, I'm Ric Rom 17, a fighting game streamer and content creator. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on such good notice. Actually, reason why I ask you, I got a question. Um,
Yeah,
how do you feel towards Street Fighter Two?
Street Fighter 2 for me, I think is the pinnacle of fighting games. Although it's very hard to play, like because I didn't really grow up with Street Fighter 2, I still think it's probably one of the most important fighting games, if not video games of all time.
I would somewhat agree, despite some people out there already who follow me on Instagram would feel my position is quite different. Now, for those who are fans of Street Fighter 2, I'm just going to come out and say this. It's not really that great of a game, but with later iterations, sure, but that's only a given, and that's only me being polite. With that being ado, what me and Rick here are going to do, we're going to play every Street Fighter game that was released on the arcades. Now, the rules are we are doing it via first to two. Once we've done by first to two, we will give our thoughts on it and then also rank it. So, yeah, that's pretty much that in a nutshell. And the first one we're going to be going. Where the fuck is that pen? Oh, you're very. Well, I'm gonna have to write it. I'm gonna have to write the notes in blood. Jokes. We're going to be doing the World Warrior, which is the first game of the Street Fighter Two series that just pretty much kept coming out and coming out and coming out in the 90s. So, with further ado, Rick, would you like to do the honours and challenge me?
Yep, let's get into it.
Uh, okay.
Oh, well, here it is, Street Fighter 2, the first 8 original characters.
Yeah. That's kind of. I mean, it was kind of starting out the waters. I mean, like, at least it's better than them starting with, I don't know, only Ryu and Ken.
Yeah, exactly like in the first game. So, has a 6-button layout too. That's good.
Um, um, Zang, from what I've heard from like people who played the first game, including majority of the Capcom employees, apparently this version of Zangief was broken.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Look at that grab. He did so much damage. Oh wow.
Get grappled, idiot.
The birth of the grapplers right here.
Oh.
Oh wow. There we go.
Oof.
Well, 1 HP left too. Oh wow.
that lucky pixel, that one lucky pixel. Uh, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do a fucking. Oh wait, here we go.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
There we go.
Yeah, the inputs are really hard here. I'm trying to do to show you, and it's like really hard to do. So
Yeah,
this is when they're figuring out the inputs. So yeah, it's definitely rough around the edges.
yeah. Here,
Uh,
get nipple pinched. Oh, sure you can.
There we go. Ooh, okay, that's good. I'm so used to Super Turbo by now, but like everything just feels so like slow, like we're fighting underwater. But yeah, this is definitely like, the first in the
Yeah,
series.
it's kind of odd at the same time because I've noticed there is a depending on certain move sets. Most there tends to be some form of slowdown. Actually, I have noticed.
Hmm.
Oh no,
Oh,
it's not this matchup.
oh yeah, the inputs are there. We go. Yeah, that Sonic Boom took a while to come out. There we go, flash kick.
That's is. Oh god, that flash kick. Fuck.
Oh, the air
Oh,
grab. All
there
right.
we go. There we go.
Even though it's pretty slow, it gets hyped though.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Oh, I couldn't do it. Oh wow. Okay.
Suplex. Body splash. He blocks it. Missile drop kick.
Oh shit. Okay, this is close game. Oh,
Ah,
okay,
that
there we go.
happened. Yeah, I can see why
Nice.
I can see why people chose Guile like in the earlier games.
Yeah, he seems very powerful, and you know, having the right amount of patience pays off with the sonic booms and flash kicks.
Yeah, you got to really be really patient to fucking actually get his moves down.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I can definitely see the slowdown, especially with oh, that nice.
there we go. Nice. Oh, the classic sweep combos. Okay.
Oh, that happened. Ken, you're an embarrassment to the USA.
Yeah, he doesn't have the flag tattoo on his
Yeah.
on his shoulder like Guile. So. Oh wow. Okay. Nice.
Get the get the fuck no. Get the fuck out. No, wait. Nah,
Oh,
stop.
okay. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh, okay. I see it.
Yeah. That was just getting too much like Sonic Boom, Hadouken, Sonic Boom, Hadouken.
Oh,
I will have to give like some credit with the the stage actually being somewhat actually a lot decent than the previous game because like where the colors weren't so vibrant, these ones are somewhat slightly better for the backgrounds.
yeah.
But man, what the fuck is up with those
Those
like
elephants.
the sprites actually? I'm like, I don't get it. I get it, it's like 1991 or 92 standard, but I feel they feel kind of just odd looking.
Yeah.
And with that also being said, like the fucking sound.
Yeah, the elephants are getting way too much. Oh, okay, nice. With 0 seconds left on the clock. Oh, and like
Well,
character portraits too. That's so classic.
okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want to see what like you say. So, in terms of gameplay, how do you find it? Play, being the first of its first kind of the series.
Uh, for it being the first in the series, I would say it's very innovative, but compared to like someone like me who grew up with like the later fighting games, this is kind of bare bones. But as I say, this is like the beginning for me. This to me, this might be the beginning of fighting games. But that being said, there's special moves, normals, and combos, which apparently combos were supposed to be not included in this game, but that was left in there. And I would say gameplay wise, it's interesting, but still like a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I would say to some extent, I don't know who's the first person who just wakes up and be likes and says, the World Warrior was probably the best of the Street Fighter Two series. I actually do tend to disagree. I mean, like, yeah, innovative. I will agree with you on that, but for some aspects, it just has kind of hindered the game to some degree. I mean, okay, obviously being from like 91, 92, that's understandable, but there are some aspects that I'm glad has improved in future iterations of Street Fighter 2. For example, I think you might have noticed this, but during our gameplay, we noticed that certain moves performed by our characters of choice tends to be rather slow. Not slow, but like kind of slowed down, but also the movement speed before the whole uh, Alpha series came about, it just still felt somewhat kind of like slow, really.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. It felt really like slow. Like I said, it felt like we were fighting it like in zero gravity or underwater.
Yeah, Virtua Fighter 2 Doral Extra Stage vibe there. Now, next one I will ask is how you feel towards the graphics.
I would say for the times they're really good, especially since knowing that everything was basically hand drawn. But yeah, there's a lot of clashing aspects from the background to the fighters themselves. I would
Mm.
say since they're just now starting out, yeah, it's really good. I could see why it left an impact on a lot of people. But you know, and the later iterations they get better. But right here, I would say they're pretty good.
Well, fair enough. I'd say me personally, I wouldn't say they're like aesthetically pleasing, but
Mm.
I'd say it's definitely a step in the right direction. Although I wish, like most game fighters these days, oh well, I mean some still do. Melty Blood, fucking Blaze. Well, not Blaze Blue because that series just kind of died out on the
Yeah,
died out. Sadly, I think the whole sprite aesthetic for Street Fighter Two as a whole just has that kind of like cartoonish vibe. And I mean, fair enough. That's a given that most 2D fighters tend to look cartoony anyway. But I think personally, I just would like to like wished it was kind of somewhat like more on a like Fatal Fury or Art of Fighting kind of style. I think that one personally just would look kind of better in animation. Where I've noticed that it's also kind of like cut down too, just to save memory.
yeah,
And lastly, the controls. Well, obviously we know six standard buttons, each with varying degrees of attacks. I think everyone has heard me say that way too many times in my
Mhm.
reviews. But yeah, I think the controls personally could be a lot better. Or maybe the fact that I'm kind of using a third-party D-pad, I kind of had some struggles pulling off moves like trying to do Zangief's Atomic Buster.
Oh, well, you were on D-pad doing that? Oh, that would have split my like finger now and my finger like super crazy.
Uh,
But yeah, for the controls, yeah, they're definitely a little bit rough around the edges. Not always responsive because I was playing on our arcade stick too. So trying to do like Shoryukens and even Sonic Booms felt like a little rough as well.
yeah, I would I would kind of notice that. All I can say is that I'm kind of glad that after this we get to play more better ones. I say I got off.
Mhm.
So if you had to be honest, what would you rank World Warrior at?
From like a scale from 1 to 10, right?
Yeah,
Or I would personally for me, I would give it maybe like around a 7 or 8 out of 10. Only because I know it's still the beginning, but also I know how iconic it can be. But for me personally, I don't think I would like wake up tonight and be like, hey, can we hop on World Warriors?
yeah. I mean that is. I mean, like I'm 33, and even I would consider that to be such a fucking millennial thing. Even then, millennials don't play like that version. It's either like out the Alpha series or Third Strike. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they are the better games.
Mm.
Me personally, I would kind of give it I would kind of give it a 6 out of 10. I mean, even we both agree that it's still it's kind of rough around the edges after the first one, but for me personally, I think it's just that slowness that kind of puts me off the game. And I want to say it is a good game, but that kind of begs me the question is if I gave it anything higher, like a 7, like you have, I think I would be too generous towards the game.
That's completely understandable too, because this for a lot of people, like a lot of normies, this is like their first introduction to fighting games, and if they don't like this, they really just don't go. They don't look into the genre like beyond this.
Mm.
So no, that's completely understandable rating though.
Yeah. So, all right. So the next one on the list is Champion Edition. All right. So the next game is gonna be a upgrade from World Warrior, being Champion Edition. Unfortunately, as much as before we play it, I'm just gonna come out and say this. I kind of have a great dislike for this game, but but this might change my mind. So with that further being said, I'm gonna challenge Rick. Where is Rick? There be Rick.
There we go.
Okay, so right off the bat, we get 4 extra characters, being Mike Tyson, Vega, Vega, some guy with an eye patch. I know he's M Bison.
Yeah, they added the 4 Shadow Kings here, so it went from 8 characters to a whopping
12.
12 characters. Yeah, I can't math. But yeah, Sagi is actually one of my favorite Street Fighter characters right here, and it's really cool. He's playable, and he was the first boss in the first Street Fighter. So, oh, nice. Let's see who could break the barrels first.
Oh no, of course you had to cuck me out of a spinning bird kick.
And there's Q in the background supposedly, which I don't know if that's entirely true. I think it was just a character that didn't have a lot of detail, and they just assumed it was Q. Oh, okay, nice. Chip damage.
Oh, yeah. So, as I'm looking at this, like, despite that I kind of have a hatred for this game, I will say something. The sprites actually do look a hell of a lot more refined than World Warrior.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's starting to feel a little bit better compared to World Warrior.
Yeah. Oh, Tiger Replica.
It definitely feels a little bit more responsive, especially when it comes into the inputs. But still a little tedious to pull off.
Also, that's kind of another thing with. I'm also kind of tempted to notice here in the background the music actually isn't all that bad, but how I come to don't not like this game. I think it isn't really an arcade problem. It's more or less that I played it on the like Sega Mega Drive, and I think compared to the arcade version, I think it's just more or less that the console's version has always felt inferior, which kind of hindered my enjoyment of this one. I'm not saying it's a bad game or an ugly one by that. In fact, I say this would be the fucking like this is pretty much the girl with the pearl earrings compared to World Warrior or the first Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Well, I noticed they still retain some slowdown.
Yeah. There we go, yeah. Oh, okay, nice. That's a nice way to end it. Wow, that was a lot of detail on that spinning bird kick.
Yeah, I think for kind of most of the reasons why.
Guess I'll play M. Bison.
Oh. Oh.
This may be a little unfair, especially introducing just the final bosses as playable characters.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad. I can understand why like he's quite broken actually in this game. Damn, just pulling like nothing but fucking let's.
Oh, okay, then nice.
Okay. I bet someone in their lifetime playing Chun-Li in this game, they have pretty much done only that move to fucking win.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to what I'm doing with Psycho Crushers. Definitely really a strong like special move in this game, because what more else can you do against it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta really be like really aware on fucking how. There we go. Sorry, sorry, it was that cheap, but
no, absolutely, no, that's perfectly justified. Especially fighting against a boss character, you'll do what you need to do.
Yeah, fuck M. Bison. Yeah, I think by if like any subscribers of mine are M Bison supporters, I'll probably get unsubscribed. That's be expected. But anyway, now compared to the World Warrior from earlier, what is the difference you've noticed with Champion Edition?
The difference is I think the speed got a little bit better. Other than having the four boss characters too, things just feel a little bit more responsive than the last.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree because like before, I believe either new challenges or super turbo, I've kind of tend to notice that we're still kind of only using the basic standard 6 button attacks with the like different like degrees of strength. But also, I've noticed that we're only kind of doing only basic like special moves that aren't like super finishers, and I'm thinking, you know, in a way, I still don't like Champions Edition, but to give credit where credit is due, I think I've actually probably enjoyed that more here today than I have played World Warrior, even if I
Mm.
even if I won that one. So graphically, I actually say the sprite work and the backgrounds has actually look more like superior to World Warrior.
Mm. Yeah, I would say that too. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more. Although I did mention say there was a lot less like detail on the characters' faces. There was a lot more going on in the background, but also like I think if you were paying attention to, I was holding down a button while the game was playing while someone got KO'd, and it just kind of got like sped up, which was a cool little like addition or Easter egg.
I is that like the during the Chun Li and Bison match?
Yeah,
I kind of tend to notice that a bit as well, but what I've also kind of noticed that I have noticed that there has been a few slowdowns, but as for that, it doesn't really hinder the game much. But other than that, I mean, it's still practical. I was just going to come out and say this: Champion Edition should just be called the World Warrior. Was it 1.5 DLC? Because that's what it is
yeah,
essentially
absolutely.
is.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke like that earlier. This is definitely the graphic upgrade with the four DLC characters, as the kids would say these days.
uh, you know what? You little bastards have it lucky. At least you didn't have to buy at least 5 fucking different cartridges for a console.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as for that, I will actually say for back to the controls, I actually say they feel somewhat more responsive.
Yeah.
Hmm. Right, so overall, like considering that despite a graphic upheave and better sound and more somewhat faster gameplay, what would you rate Champion Edition?
With all that was given, I would probably still give it the same rating as World Warriors 7 because it really is just what we were joking about earlier. It's just the patch with the DLC characters. Like if we were
Yeah.
to rate a modern fighting game now and they added more DLC characters, you know, we would probably give it the same rating. But yeah,
Yeah,
I would probably say it's
I'm
7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I think in some aspects it kind of deserves that respect.
Yeah.
All
But yeah,
right,
that was championship edition, right? So we'll have to move on to the next one.
all right. I believe that is hyper fighting. Or is that hyper or new challengers?
You know what? I might have to look it up. I think it might be Hyper Fighters too.
I'm just going to come out and say this. I've never played hyper fighting. I kind of missed out on that ball. How about you?
I've never played Hyper Fighting either, only until I was challenged by Hurricane, like I think last year. But yeah, I think this might be one of the ones I've played the least, aside from the other two we just played.
Right on, right on. Um, from my understanding, apparently this one was actually quite favoured on the Super Nintendo. This game, I believe. It,
Oh wow.
yeah, I can understand because there was one time during a tournament we had this one dude who partook in a like the Japanese version of Super Turbo, and he played Guile, and he always went on like hyper, and they asked him because he was actually doing good as Guile. He said he played a lot of hyper fighting, which was his favourite one. So now we're going to probably dive in and see why he feels that. Is this game going to be good or is it going to be a flop? Let's find out. Rick, care to do the honours?
Absolutely.
Okay, so nothing's changed. Still 12 characters.
Yeah, but it looks like we got new color palettes for everybody though. I guess I'll go Balrog. I think I heard in this version Balrog was a really good character, but we'll see if that's true. Oh wow, the speed is definitely enhanced.
Okay. Yes, there's still that slowdown, so that's to be expected.
Yeah. Oh, I got stunned. All right. Oh, look at that Balrog damage. All right.
Okay, I have to ask you one question. Like you've probably seen a lot of cartoons or TV growing up, right?
Mhm.
Uh, in any series given, who is your favourite Mike Tyson lookalike character?
His name escapes me right now, but just the one from The Simpsons. I remember that
Adrenaline
one.
Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a scene, yeah, where because Homer's about to fight him, and they're like hyping him up, and then he's like in prison eating Jello, and then they're having a prison riot, and he's like, "Hey guys, come on, shut up!" And they all just stop, and they go back to their cells.
Yeah. Could you? I wonder, like, how Balrog would sound if it's really loosely based on Mike Tyson. Just imagine Balrog with a lisp.
I am reporting to M Bison. We are with Dabalu. My fight money.
Okay, I need to think of a character I'm pretty good with. No, I'm sticking with Sagat.
Yeah. The punches definitely feel way like more impactful too. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was just like a full screen super. Full screen special. Nice.
Oh, that's a whiff. I just got with. Fuck! No!
Yeah, Balrog's super good in this game.
I can see why you picked him.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of having much fun with Sagat than I would in like any other version.
Yeah, so guys are really fun in Classic 2. Classic Street Fighter.
Do you know? I'm just gonna come out and say this. He should have actually been in Third Strike. Really,
Oh yeah.
I think he would actually be good.
That would be actually really sick too. To bring it back together from the first final boss to like the all grown up cast. Those elephants, man, they're getting way out of hand.
I lost. Oh well. I'll happily take that. I'm gonna catch my breath. Holy shit!
Yeah, that was intense.
I'll say, like, the way I look at it, speed is actually what's important to a fighting game. And I think, despite, being from the same year as Champion Edition, I say it's actually a hell of a lot better. I mean, that game speed, my god.
Oh yeah, it definitely felt way faster. And, like the buttons felt way more responsive, almost too responsive because I wasn't pulling out special moves quite as often because felt like I was just jabbing a lot.
I mean, he is a boxer, so yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've noticed that because normally with like the previous two, we haven't. I mean, we have, but not as much as hyper fighting, where we just pulling off like mostly like special moves, like a few tiger uppercuts, tiger fists, and I think I saw at least one knee.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The first one felt like, yeah, take your time, try to do the specials. Over here felt like we're fighting for our life to do our specials.
I can see why the guy at the tournament actually enjoyed hyper fighting. I'm actually kind of sad that I did. I don't. I'm kind of sad that I don't think the like Sega Mega Drive had a version of this. But then again, we switched from Street Fighter to Champion Edition to Art of Fighting at that time. So yeah. But anyway, now I will ask some questions. What did you think of the like graphics, including character sprites and backgrounds?
Um, I would say because I was looking at the character portraits before, well, the one we played before and hyper fighting, they weren't that different. I did see like a couple of color changes, but um, for me, I would say the graphics stayed a little bit the same. Especially if they came out in the same year, I wouldn't expect them to like super improve on it. But it definitely felt very different compared to the last ones.
Yeah,
But it's really unfortunate we got the elephant stage like twice, like this whole run,
yeah,
because I really wanted to see more.
yeah. That's the thing I always kind of hated about that stage selection in these games is because when you do like 1v1, you just get sent to a place, and I'm like thinking, bruv, I don't want to go to India for the umpteenth time. I want to go to Brazil because for some reason everyone's always telling me to go there. Well, actually, I think they just do that ironically, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the like elephant stage being mostly there on screen, I
Yeah.
think I think respectively from what I've seen from other people's gameplays, including like background graphics, I actually say they're still somewhat the same, but I think like something like Balrog's stage or Vega's stage would have actually been more of a like tech technical marvel to have instead of the elephants. Now, don't get me wrong,
Oh,
the elephant sprites in that background do look nice, but do you know one thing? I will be honest that they're like sort of noise they do with their trunks. Like I think sound wise that is actually kind of off putting, especially when you like when someone wins. I'm like, that's way too much. Like, is that really
yeah.
necessary?
Yeah, it's definitely the most not the most like best thing to hear, especially when you're fighting and then like near the end, when every character is pulling off special moves, just hear the elephants every like zero point 0.5 seconds, and that's just not a
Uh,
pleasant thing to hear. Like when you're about to like die or lose your quarter.
imagine like especially just like that lose to like Balrog and like the arcade just mocking you saying like you win and the sound of defeat just sounds like a bunch of elephants fucking screaming. But I will say the controls again. Just as always, six buttons. I think we get the picture at this point. It's all going to be six
Mm.
buttons. I actually felt like it actually was a hell of a lot more responsive than the last two. And you know what? I'm kind of sad I still kind of missed out on this ball game.
Oh
But
yeah, absolutely. It definitely felt way more responsive. Like I said, maybe a little too responsive because we were just whiffing a lot of specials. But yeah, it definitely feels way better than hyper fighting.
well, that kind of begs the question when we're now talking hyper fighting. What would you rank it?
This one I would rank as I've seen a lot of improvements. I would say probably a 7.5.
He's going for a point 0.5. The
Yeah.
madman.
It's good, but it's still, I would say it's really good, but it still feels very similar to the last game. So, you know, I would probably just give it a point 0.5. It's way better, way more responsive, but it's still just not there yet.
Yeah. I think me personally, I'm just gonna probably leave it with a 7. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think that point 0.5 is justified. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? Going back to because I bring up the point earlier. It still feels like the last game, even though it's just a little bit faster.
yeah,
So, yeah, I would say a 7 out of 10 would probably be more understandable.
yeah. With hence I said earlier, at least the little bastard these days never understood the pain of just buying the same game off a console, and it's pretty much the same thing but vaster improvement.
Oh yeah, I guess the only closest thing they can get to that is Overwatch 2, but that's another ballpark. That's another can of worms.
Yeah, I don't play mid. Right. So the next game is the new challengers. Are you quite familiar with this one?
From what I read up and just what I know is that this is the one that introduced like I think a few more characters, kind of like Fei Long and Cammy. And I'm not super like well versed in this one. I'm more into the turbo, but I wouldn't mind trying that right now.
Right on, right on. I'm just gonna send the challenge. Check my volume.
Um,
Alright, I'm good. Alright, so
there you go.
as off the bat, 16 characters with four additional being T-Hawk, Fei Long, DJ and Cammy. That's actually quite a decent roster for 93, 94.
Yeah. I like the map selection though. It looks really good now. Oh, and this is the introduction of Wreck-It characters apparently with Fei Long. Yeah.
Damn, that Fei Long though.
Oh wow. There we go.
Nice throw.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That definitely happened. That definitely happened.
Oh wow, that throw did a lot of damage.
Okay, looks like I'm going to have to resort to using a Shoto because fuck you. Hong Kong. There we go.
Oh, nice.
You win. So, as I'm seeing graphically and gameplay wise, not much has really changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ken still looks like his older versions. But you can definitely see that Fei Long is definitely like a new character just by like the difference in detail between the two. Oh, nice. All right, I guess I'll try T-Hawk.
Is he a, if I recall, he's a grappler, right?
Yeah, he's a grappler, and I think he has some aerial moves too. There we go. Uh oh. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Loving the Ryu stage though.
It's at least it's probably more better looking at than fucking I don't know elephants that we have had for
Exactly.
the that we've had for at least 2 of the games.
Maybe even Capcom got tired of the elephants. They were like, let's give them more variety.
Yeah, yeah, this is true.
Oh, I missed it. Alright.
And there's still some slowdown.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice, it's done.
Get the
Oh,
fuck
wow.
out of here.
What a good way to end it.
Yeah, that
Nice.
definitely happened. Right, so as we probably noticed, there's not really much to even go on with this. I mean, it didn't have. I mean, for me personally, I noticed obviously there's a few slowdowns when doing moves. That's a given, but I felt that despite the 4 characters, there hasn't really been much of a change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the only change I saw was that everyone got new character portraits and maybe like the map screen because they had to add a new character like countries. But yeah, it definitely feels like the last game we played. Especially seeing Fei Long, he definitely is a new sprite because he got a lot more detail, like as we saw with the Ken fight.
Yeah,
But this still feels like it's about to get there. Like it's hyping up for something even better. But yeah, this is definitely just like I would say it's just a little upgrade compared to the last one we played.
yeah, I would say so because I noticed that with the asides of the additional um, characters, as I said, there's really not much to go with. I mean, graphically, especially with T-Hawk, Fei Long, Kami, not sure about DJ because none of us picked him. Rest in peace, DJ. um, I feel that their sprites are more defined than was it of the previous ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't need to go into controls because we know where it stands. And well, I will say that the last stages we had being in Hong Kong and Japan, or Fei Long's stage and Ryu's stage, they actually looked quite nice looking. I won't lie to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In Fei Long stage, there was a lot going on in the background, but that didn't take away from the fight. It just looked really animated and just super good too, especially Ryu's stage too.
Agreed. And finally, the sound. Well, I'd say musically, in terms of music and sound effects and sprites and voices samples, I'd say they're actually fairly decent.
Yeah, absolutely. They're way better. At least we're not bombarded by a bunch of elephants in the background.
Yeah. Fuck elephants. Okay. I have a feeling that I might annoy the Thai and the Indian folk over in Asia, so I'll have to pretty much donate to them and say sorry for saying fuck elephants. Okay, so if you had to rank it or rate it, what would you give it?
Although I think my rankings so far have been a steady like 6 to 8. I think this would have to be the 8 out of all of them because it still definitely feels like it's getting there. Maybe I would like maybe if I didn't have anything else better to do, maybe I would like ask people to hop on the new challengers. But as we'll see in a bit, it only gets better from here. So I would say a solid 8.
Honestly, I'm still gonna give it. I'm still gonna give it a 7. I mean, it's definitely an improvement, but I mean, it just still feels somewhat very same like with as akin to like hyper fighting. But hopefully that when it comes to the next game, which will be the final one, being Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So we'll get into that as soon as. So we're finally at the apex of this page well, not this page, but this video, and we're going to end it all with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or as it is called, Super Street Fighter 2 X Grandmasters Challenge in Japan. And I think we both have quite a well, not really a fondness, but we are pretty much aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. This not to be not to get into spoilers might be one of my favorites, but we'll talk about that after we do our set.
Indeed. With that being said, I'm going to send you a challenge and we are going to get going. This, as always, first to 2.
Nice. Let the fight commence.
Indeed. Well, at least it's kind of back in a 2x8 position, so all is good.
Yeah. It looks a little bit more organized. I always like using Vega in this one, or as they call him, Balrog in Japan.
Yeah, the unconventional naming standards of Street Fighter 2. Thank you, Capcom. Yeah. Very cool.
There we go, yeah.
Get thrown. Nice. Grappler cigar. Could you imagine?
Oh shit, that was a nice uppercut. Yeah, Grappler cigar would be scary.
Here's something a little bit different from the other 4 we playing. As we can see that we have super meters. That's actually which is actually pretty
The intro to super meters, yeah, absolutely monumental here. Although Vega has a super, everyone has a super here, but I just can't pull off his though. There's always been something I can't do.
Yeah. Do you know what's also funny? On Alpha 03, when you select Xism, you actually oh shit, yeah!
Super ending, dude. Nice.
As I was saying, when you pick Xism, that's actually based on, on this version of Street Fighter 2, but the only hindrance with picking Xism on Alpha is that you don't have much you don't have actually much access to most of the Alpha stuff like air blocking and Alpha combos.
Oh wow, so it's definitely a Super Turbo style, Super Turbo groove. I lost my claw there. There we go. Oh yeah, and the UI looks super different too. You can definitely see the like vast improvement.
The way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Also, from my understanding, from people who have had played Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, they say the best actual version for console is actually on the 3DO, which is actually quite surprising because the actual console itself is not actually well known or well revered.
Yeah. Nice. Oh,
Oh fuck.
nice. I just wish I could do Vega's super.
I mean, have you tried using all kind of inputting?
Yeah, and that's a really like weird charge like super. I'm not really good at those.
Oh, so he's a charge type.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, my claw. There we go. Got it back. It's funny because I don't really like using Vega in most games, but here in Super Turbo, it just feels like really cool. I rolled right into that one. Oh shit. The music is getting way too intense. Oh, nice. And now I guess I'll end it with the good old Ryu.
Remember, guys, this is canon.
Yeah. Ryu definitely got to glow up. I think everybody here got to glow up. At least some minor adjustments to like the sprite. There he goes. Shinku Hadouken, everybody. The intro of the most iconic super in fighting games.
The quintessential move for every Shoto in existence except for Ken.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have a super fireball, does he?
Nah.
Not even in the Mortal Capcom franchise, I think. Oh, okay. Nice.
Boom!
Right into the barrel.
Just as things as it is supposed to be.
Lore accurate.
You fucking know. You fucking know. Well, I think that pretty much covers that. So, nothing much has changed with the roster. It's like 16 since New Challenger. Graphically, still looks the same. But however, with the improvements being the fact that you get one special meter and the game speed is a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah, I think this is for me. I definitely think it's probably one of the biggest upgrades to fighting games. Like everyone memes the whole different iterations of Street Fighter 2, but this is like what it was leading up to what I believe.
And for good reasons too. I think that this one has kind of been needed because I think at this point, after the first four iterations of Street Fighter 2, we came to the penultimate version. That one version that just says, yeah, I'm better than the rest, fuck the others.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think Street Fighter 2, I think Super Turbo because this is honestly one of my not one of my favorite fighting games, but to me, I think it's one of the most important ones too.
Exactly, especially with the fact that it still, to this day, is still used in tournament play.
Yeah, and like they don't even like use like the final challengers, which was supposedly the final version of Street Fighter 2. This is the one everyone thinks of, and this is just like the how do I say the magnum opus for Street Fighter 2.
So, in terms of gameplay, what's your opinion?
In gameplay, I think it's probably the most refined in my opinion. Even though some of the supers are really hard to pull off, just the fact that there's even like supers like in this game is just how I say monumental and just like it's just like a big step forward into the right direction because you can tell after this many fighting games. I'm not sure what game introduced the super meter, but many fighting games just made it a staple to have supers in their fighting games after this.
True. Because there's a lot of games that kind of have their own take on the super meter. When you like, for example, when you look at stuff like King of the Fighters 94 and 95.
Yeah, or even like Samurai Showdown with like the big the big meter.
Yeah, with because I was going to say with 94 and 95. Well, actually, I will say that not every super meter in every fighting game is equal to each other because they all have their kind of different ways of like getting that filled up. Like with, as I say, King of Fighters 94 and 95, you have to play defensively for it to charge up, or you just charge it up by psyching up. Whereas Alpha 2, well, the Alpha series in general, you get like 3 Alpha finishers, like in a power up, or anything regarding Arc System Works or future fighting games. Their super bars tend to be a lot more better than some.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what would you say in terms of graphic? How do you feel towards it?
I think like graphically, this is just the best version of Street Fighter 2. And I think everything just looks a little bit more refined. Ryu got like the old sprites just got a little touched up, and the whole like character selection just looks a little bit better. It doesn't look as busy as the last one, but you can definitely tell they really try to refine it to make it more user friendly.
Definitely.
And just like the stages just look way better because you can compare this to like what was it hyper fighting, and it just looks way different, especially in that Ken stage.
Agreed. I think that was actually a championship edition we saw Ken stage, but with hyper fighting and with hyper fighting and World Warrior, I think is where we mostly got the fucking elephants. I actually noticed the color palette of the backgrounds seems a lot more cleaner and a lot more colorful. So this is definitely in the right place for something that is using CPS2 hardware.
Yeah.
So that being said, if you had to rate it, what would you do it?
I would have to rate it because I've been giving just most of them 7 and 8s. This one's still like, although I love Street Fighter 2, I love like how iconic and influential it is. I'm being a little super generous, but I'll still give it a 9 just because of how iconic this is. And when I think of Street Fighter 2, I think of this one, and it's just like it earns its place to be like a very historic fighting game. Not my most favorite fighting game, but it was definitely an acquired taste for me. But yeah, I will give it a 9 out of 10. That's how important I think this game is.
Indeed. I think I'm also going to give it a 9 because I think at this point, was it what was pretty much outdated? Was it within the last 3 years of like Street Fighter 2's life cycle? Has pretty much ended it with a song that is just literally the best version ever to exist. And it's also the equivalent of my dad is better than yours sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so now it has came to the final part of the video where we actually do rank it. Now, I'm going to give it 3 tiers. We have godlike, mid-tier, trash. So, since we're going to probably do this one by one, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm actually going to put World Warrior as trash. And I know it started off something, but let's be honest, none of us are going to look at each other or speak to each other and say, "Hey, bro, let's play World Warrior in it." Fuck that. Okay, so I'm giving you the next one, being Championship Edition. Where would you put it?
As we saw, it was definitely just like a little bit of an upgrade, but you know, it's still just getting there. I think it'd be too generous giving it mid tier, so I would probably just put it in the same league as World Warrior.
In the fucking trash you go. Okay, I've got hyper fighting. Brilliant. Okay, I'm definitely gonna put this as mid tier. I'm like, I would really want to put it higher, but it didn't necessarily tickle my fancy, despite the fact that it was a lot faster than the last two, being World Warrior and Championship Edition.
Hmm.
All right, so where would you respectively put New Challenger?
New challengers. I know this is the game that introduced like a little bit more, way newer characters like Cammy, DJ, Fei Long, T Hawk. I'm still hesitant on giving it like godlike tier. I know some people probably grew up on this one, but I'm still gonna give it a mid tier. You know, like we said earlier, it's still getting there, but you know, it's got a long ways to go.
Okay, so now that leaves only one, and I think this is pretty much going to be unanimous on our part. So, I think that's pretty much agreed that Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Grandmaster Challenge should be god tier, and
Absolutely,
definitely rightfully so.
yeah. It's earned its place there, and you know this is going to be the fighting game everyone remembers for the ages. You know, definitely a historical piece of gaming, just gaming history in general. Although World Warriors what started it, Super Turbo ended it on a good note.
Indeed. And following any other iteration of Street Fighter 2 to come out on future platforms, which we don't have access to, but that's fine. And I don't think we have the Ultra Street Fighter 2 at our disposal. But then again, that was, I believe, was mostly a Switch exclusive.
Yeah, I remember buying that when I got my Switch, but my games are in storage right now, so I wouldn't be able to dig it out either way.
Yeah, and I don't have my Switch anymore.
Uh,
Well, I think that pretty much does it. All I'm going to ask, Rick, did you did you enjoy this by any chance?
yeah, this is my first collaboration video. I wouldn't have had it with any other person, man. And this was just fun to do. We got to play some sick fighting games, and you know, it's actually a good like way to start off collaborations with like probably the most like important fighting game right now of the ages.
Indeed. And don't you fuckers forget it. Well, I think that pretty much ends it on that note. I've been Saku.
And I've been Ric Rom 17.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any of our channels. And hopefully you guys have a good day. With that being said, fuck off.
We'll see you again, Warriors.